podcast slash talk show tonight about news.
Get hooked into PvP while adventuring.
I can tell this is probably one of the most unique games I've seen in a very long time.
Gentlemen, this is our evening's guests, our co-hosts. We've got Grid21 returning and Sir Jaziel returning. Guys, welcome back.
Hey.
I've been looking forward to doing another show about this. I'm gonna get out of this screen right now. I've been looking forward to doing another show, and I'm glad you guys are here for this. So today we're going to be talking again about PvE, because there was a big debate when this first game was, in first alpha, it was all about full loot PvP, and this is a PvP game. Is there going to be enough PvE content, and yada yada yada. And then there was the giant direction change by Amazon, and then everyone started calling this a PvE game, which is still wrong in my opinion. It's still definitely a PvP game with PvE aspects. I'm going to take a chug of this. But I agree that there needs to be enough PvE content to keep a balanced and populated game. So, what do they have to offer? What have they told us about? What do they have to offer? What have they told us they won't have? Which I didn't put in these notes, but we'll talk about that as well. And then we're going to talk about some story speculation, because right now, honestly, it's just speculation when it comes to story. Oh, that's why it froze. I see, that's why. I minimized it. I'm learning, guys. Pro streamer over here is learning. So, let's get this party started. I'll start off. We're gonna talk about the corrupted quite a bit today, guys. We talked about the corrupted breaches a couple weeks. Was it last week or 2 weeks ago? I think it was 2 weeks ago. Yeah, it was 2 weeks ago. We're going to start with the corrupted breaches. We're not going to read all about them. We're just going to read about the 3 types that there are, right? And there they are. Actually, 4 types, sorry. And then we're going to talk about invasions, because it's good to know those before we talk about invasions, which they gave us this on the 9th. So this was 2 weeks ago. Has it really been 2 weeks already?
Apparently.
My goodness.
Yep.
So I'm going to kick this off really quick, and then I'm going to kick this off with the corrupted breaches invasions, and then we'll discuss arenas, guys. Arenas is something that hasn't really been out there much. It's out there. This information isn't like leaked. This is information that was in an interview on a website that's French.
Secrets.
Yeah, no, it ain't leaked. This is stuff that's out there. If you guys haven't heard about arenas, I'm glad you're here, because we're going to talk about them. We're actually going to watch a video by Sir Medieval, which I'm pretty sure just about everyone here watching has probably seen some of Sir Medieval's videos, because he's kind of the guy right now.
I've never actually heard of him until tonight.
Really? He's
Yep.
Wow. Huh?
I don't watch YouTubers. I don't watch game stuff. It's either education about streaming, or I'm streaming myself and or editing things or life stuff. So.
He's the guy right now. He's kind of the YouTuber on this game.
Well, that's cool.
He's
Good
just
for him.
Yeah, and his videos are pretty darn good quality. I just have one criticism: he's very monotone voice. He's just a monotone voice. I don't know why, he just does.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the update. This is all you need to know.
Yeah, right. So we're gonna watch one of his videos, because he gets down and dirty about arenas, something that hasn't been in one of these dev blogs, but it has been talked about in an interview with a website that's all French. So I can't read French, but Sir Jaziel, or not Sir Jaziel, I keep saying Sir Medieval seems to have a source to have it translated. And so we're gonna watch his video, and we'll kind of stop and kind of talk about everything he talks about arenas, and then we're gonna talk about this the story, guys. We're gonna discuss maybe who we think the ancients are, who this girl Isabella is, because everyone wants to know, and I still want to know. And who's Isabella? Who's the girl with the fiery red eyes that seems to be like not a mindless, like corrupted? She looks like she has her own decisions. Who knows? And the last, we're going to discuss what kind of things do you want to see in the story. And I'm pretty excited about that. So let's kick this off, boys and girls. I want to get back to these breaches really quick. That's what we're gonna start off with. All right. Really quick catch up with the chat. So for those of you guys who are here normally for my videos, they are going to be tonight. We are going to have videos. We're just doing the podcast first. This is going to be a new setup I'm trying for a while. Podcast on Sundays for the first hour and a half to 2 hours tops, then video reaction. So guys, don't worry, your videos are here. A lot of you guys come later anyway, so it works out. A lot of you guys aren't even here at the beginning of those streams. So it works out probably. We'll see how it goes. So let's get to these breaches, guys. Corrupted breaches are basically these rifts that occur in the world. They happen in different territories, and they influence the territories that they appear in. And they basically have to be taken care of by the player base. It's completely a PvE mechanic. The Corrupted are the main baddie faction in this game, and they're trying their best to basically come after the players in our territory. They come after our settlements, our forts. But it starts with these corrupted breaches. And there are 4 types of breaches. There's corrupted monoliths, which is a group of corrupted zealots have unearthed a towering ancient monolith, empowering it to spread corruption throughout the lands. That's this giant, like, tower-looking thing. We've got corrupted portals, which is basically exactly what it sounds like. Corrupted acolytes are opening a portal to bring forces of their army into the territory. So that's kind of just bringing in baddies. Then you've got infested groves, which I still don't know what this is. Corrupted Azoth is pooled under the earth, splitting the ground and giving rise to a twisted, corrupted monstrosity. Escaping its tendrils will be perilous. So apparently that's part of a monster, right? Is what he's saying. Dude, I hope there's like a... I wonder if that's the type of world boss. You know what I mean? Like, that'd be cool. If there was a world boss level of Breach, that'd be pretty cool. And then last but not least, we got the Festering Hive, which is a towering hive. It's a pretty big structure, actually. Formed from corruption, has sprouted, birthing and empowering the corrupted beings that reside within its walls. So it sounds like that's when you actually have to go into. These all seem like they appear outside. I mean, I don't know about the monolith, but this one, there's like an entrance. Is that right there? It's like, looks like you might have to go into that. The corrupted are at your doorstep, breaches opening up, enemies crawling forth. How will you choose to engage? Sit behind your high walls until the corrupted eventually invade, which we're going to talk about next, or take the fight to them, stealing them back to the depths from whence they came. So guys, clearly this is kind of the main, at least out of the stuff they've given us, this seems to be the kind of main PvE mechanic going on in the game, that's going to happen in the game, at least on launch, is the corrupted. As much as they talk about in one of the devlogs videos that they have mass forces accruing in the north, right? So there's clearly some places they hang out, but this is their way of coming to where we hang out, which is the territories that we can control throughout the map. I don't know. We don't have a lot of information on difficulties, levels, ultimately what they've talked about, how it impacts your resource gathering or your tables. But my question to you guys is, do you think that this, out of the it sounds like this is kind of, you know, they talk about how there's no in-game dungeons, no instant dungeons, no raids. Do you guys think for launch, obviously things will develop, it's an MMORPG, do you think this will give us enough PvE content to keep to kind of feed the hunger of those PvEers that clearly they're trying to bring to the game when they said, okay, let's get rid of this full loot PvP, we want PvE to be important. Do you guys think this is gonna hold on to the PvEers long enough for them to develop PvE content, story, things like that, or do you think there's gonna be need to be more? Are we gonna need instance dungeons? They talk about uninstance dungeons, and like I said, I wonder if this is kind of like one. We got to go into a hive. What's your guys' opinions on this being clearly the main PvE content at launch? I'll send it over to you first, Sir Jaziel, as the MMO expert of this show.
I'm as far as what we've seen so far, I still think we could use more, but that's a common MMORPG player our complaint.
Especially
so
on
we just
launches.
Want more, right? I think as far as launch, if we got what we've been shown so far, I would be pretty happy, probably for 3-ish months or so.
Which is kind of a standard.
Right.
3-4
and
months
then
is kind of a patch.
I'm optimistic though that we are going to get more. We've seen, and I think you said that we were going to show the video later, where they go into detail about arenas, and there's a little bit that was touched in. I don't know if it was that video or one of Sir Medieval's other videos where he actually, now I remember, it was a different video that I don't think we're going to have tonight, but
I would like that link in the Discord.
Actually
if you can find that.
Oh yeah, it's a newer one. I think he just posted it this past week.
Definitely posted it in the Discord.
They are planning on. I'll look it up while I'm talking.
Yeah.
Which could be dangerous because if I type the wrong thing, you know how YouTube is.
I know how the internet is if you type in the wrong thing.
I am the king of going to the dark side of
YouTube.
The dark side of Twitter, the dark side of Facebook.
I always end up on those weird claymation animated things.
Oh no, where they make instruments out of fruit. Oh man.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa, you've been there too.
Dude, it's the recommended video we're all getting, and we don't know why we're getting it.
This is why I turn off Google's data tracking on my account. So I don't get that.
Dude, data tracking should not give me those videos. I don't know what you're talking about.
I think that's it.
Go on.
Okay, so Amazon, I'm going to post a link for everyone, but you guys check it out later after we're done with the stream tonight. But there you go. The Amazon Studios, they are game studios, excuse me.
Yep.
They are planning on at least keeping this going for 10 years. They have a game plan here, pun intended.
They have definitely talked about that.
They really. So, in what I just said, that I think it could keep me coming back for 3 months, just the game itself. Now, playing with these guys beside me and the rest of the fellows and lasses who are going to be
#hideout.
Hanging out with us in the hideout. That really, the social aspect will keep me there longer. So as long as they keep playing, I'll keep coming in every day. But I mean, as far as the game by itself, if I was to solo it or whatever, which, you can only do so much solo in this game.
And they talked about that when it comes to breaches. Some of it will be soloable. Some of it you will need a group, sometimes a bigger group. So there's definitely, like I said, they don't give us much information on what's difficult, how difficult, what level, but they do say there will be varying difficulties when it comes to these breaches.
There's definitely a very nice coverage of different things that you can of differing interests. If you want to be, as we talked about 2 weeks ago, if you want to be that person that's more PvE, there's stuff for you to do and feel like you're part of the story, which we'll get to the story part here in a bit.
I did watch this video.
Okay.
Yep.
You're still going to be able to go out there and do things like gathering and crafting and helping your team be ready to withstand the forces of not only the PvP aspect of the game, but the game itself is going to try to knock you down. And you're still going, even if you want to go completely PvE and you don't necessarily want to do PvP against other players, you can still participate in those invading monstrosities that are coming against you, that are the NPCs, as well as, like I said, gathering and crafting and whatnot. What's the longevity of that for a PvEer without a story? Oh, that's where...
I mean, that's why we're going to talk about that. I hope there's a good story.
Right. I know we're going to talk about that more further, so I'll kind of leave that to the side a little bit, but that is kind of my concern right now, is other than those little notes and books and things that you find around the areas at this point, there's just not much there. So if you're really if you're looking for an RPG kind of experience, it's not there in the game right now, but I definitely, with them saying they're going to keep this going for 10 years, hopefully, which I'm rooting for them, obviously. I imagine that we will that we will get some kind of story going there, and they're going to need to do DLCs and whatnot. So there's going to be story with that, because if we go move to a different island or just have another area open up, we're going to need to know why. What's the story behind this? What's going on? And for me, as more of a PvEer, that is what I'm interested in. I'm curious. How did this all happen, and what's going on, and what are we doing to fix it, and can we fix it, and
Let's
who's
not
this
get ahead.
Isabella chick?
Let's not get ahead. I know you're clearly excited about this stuff.
Yeah, but
Um,
with PvP, even in that video they talked about with PvP that this isn't it. They said, don't worry guys, this is not it. We do have other things, including that awesome arena
yeah.
thing, which is going to be more PvE, but I can totally see them.
Me too.
I can totally see them throwing those things at us and then saying, "Oh, by the way, here's another company."
Please give us PvP arenas, Amazon. Please give us PvP arenas.
Chest in the middle. Please. Now you guys fight.
Like instance arenas in the world arenas. Make me fight some people in a ring where they can't get away until someone dies. Like, please.
Yeah.
Are you not entertained? I want it.
I don't mind.
Please and high.
Exclusively non-instanced. I kind of like the idea that we're going to have world bosses that everybody can go.
That's right.
That was one of the things. Again, Sir Medieval said this, so I'm just repeating it. But it's true. That's one of the things I loved about Guild Wars 2.
In original and like classic, world bosses were totally a thing. Like, you got specific loot. Like, people went after specific world bosses in classic because they had like best in slot stuff. Like, it was important.
You would be rewarded greatly.
Yeah.
You would get like the coolest upgrades from doing that and participating in it. And I am really looking forward to being able to do that again in this game, where you don't even necessarily need to be in a group of people and go into a dungeon or anything. You just walk around the world and you're like, holy cow, there's a giant, 60-foot bear, corrupted thing, like breathing fire out of its nostrils at us.
Whoa, that sounds like a beast.
Yeah, it's going to take 50 people to even touch it.
Woo! Dude, that'd be insane. That's something I didn't put in the list because they don't really touch on it much, but they do mention, and Sir Medieval is going to talk about it in the arena video, that they do plan to have world bosses, but they give us no information about them at all, so I didn't really want to talk about them.
Right.
There will be there will be world bosses or field bosses in this game. They just haven't given us any information on what. Like, they just said there will be. So I didn't really want to talk about that, but I do look forward. World bosses were something I think were really cool. Even in Burning Crusade, started playing Burning Crusade. I wanted to do the dragons of, what's it called? Of the green, Emerald Dream. Because they were still hard. Even in Burning Crusade, like, you needed, like, a decent amount of people to kill one of them. Now, obviously, the gear was obsolete at that point, but it was one of the first things I ever did with my guild was try to go kill one of them. It was kind of neat, and we did. And so, yes.
My imagination, just so everybody knows, I'm like Jafar. My imagination and what they give us a little tiny nugget, and I just.
He likes himself some PvE boys.
What if it's
and girls.
this and this and this too?
He likes himself some PvEs. Grid, I know that you don't necessarily have the same MMO experience that me and Jaziel have. At least I don't think you do. I could be wrong and be like, nah, bro, I played, EQ for 10 years. I don't know. But
that was me too.
Yeah, no, I know. Now he's just bragging, guys.
I'm sorry.
I love you, bro. But for someone who's kind of newer to the MMO scene, and I don't really know how much you have, but I know it's not much, but it sounds like this will be one of your first games you invest time in.
Yeah.
Are you gonna be what excites you? Like, do these breaches excite you? These invasions, these PvP, these world bosses? Are you gonna be more on that PvP side? And this amount of content here isn't really what's gonna hold your attention.
I mean, I played Black Desert Online.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I played BDO. I played Pirates of the Caribbean Online was a form of
You played Podco?
Yeah, like back
No
like in the day,
way.
and they're re-releasing it under a different
It's
name.
been
a
no,
different
it's
company
already
now.
been re-released.
Yeah, yeah. So
Yep.
I've played a little bit of that. I've played Guild Wars.
Okay.
And like my thing is that like I think
Arena's a riot.
well, and I think also too is that people have a tendency to base like a lot of MMO RPG things off of like World of Warcraft because that's kind of like the
It's this-
staple of like
Mhm.
yeah, it's kind of like the staple of literally everything that is an MMO. And I think my concern is I don't want another WoW-ish like clone because when they were mentioned like arenas and
Mhm.
PvE stuff, I was like, oh, so a WoW clone.
I mean,
Awesome.
it's the industry standard. It's been around
Yeah,
now
but like,
for
I know,
16 years, almost 16
well, it's like,
years.
but like, I was excited about the idea of it being like different. You can do either,
Mhm.
and then this came out, and I was like, oh, alrighty then. I mean, it's cool. Like, I guess it could be cool. It depends on how they manage it.
Mhm.
It would be my thought would be it'd be interesting if like if factions are still a thing or people make faction guilds or whatever.
Companies.
Yeah, that like imagine that a company could create like their own boss that like that's their boss that represents their
Ooh,
company and they can like launch it to anybody that they want and then they can turn it either
that sounds
or
cool.
it could be a co-op system where like we're fighting this company but they brought their monster with them.
Oh my
And so
gosh,
you have
that'd be
PvE
cool.
You have PvE and PvP literally in the same battlefield.
Kind of like
That's
a cool idea.
there's a battleground in what expansion was that? World of Warcraft. Ashrand. There were big NPC bosses that you could activate for your side. And
Yeah.
like
Right.
Alliance was the big treant. I don't remember what the boss was, but like essentially you could create with if you gathered the resources, you could create this giant baddie that would fight alongside you in the battleground. Oh, that'd be
Yeah,
cool.
and I like that. What I really wish somebody would please like do when it comes to this kind of genre is like I don't know why there isn't like some sort of like AI system where like there's things happening always in the world and like I know Guild Wars had this system of like oh there's this repeating event kind of a thing but like I kind of wanted to see something that you know like imagine NPC like they have their own like little thing to do that they have and then they're like well this NPC is now casting war on this other NPC village and somehow you get roped into it and it's like the world is like living and breathing kind of a thing.
Yeah, they're always changing.
Yeah,
I
and
like
that's
that.
kind of what I was hoping to see out of this, but I don't think I'll end up like seeing it. And like
I really
another
want
thing,
that too.
like-
Actually, I want an ever-changing world that feels
and
like
and
your
like the
part
idea of it
makes
being
a
like
change.
arenas and like dungeon stuff hasn't that been done like 500,000 times already? Like
Well, that's yeah.
yeah, and so and because it has been done 500,000 times, it's like you were supposed to be the one that changed the one ring to rule them all, kind of a
One
thing.
ring.
Like, and so you know they came with these changes. They talk about, it, and I was just kind of like, aha, I see. So I like I don't know because things are in alpha and not confirmed nor released.
Mhm.
I use loose quotation marks. I it's hard to say like what we'll actually get.
Right.
I think it should be both. We have PvP, PvE, mix of both.
Mhm.
You know, or you know, you just decide one day you're just gonna like attack this NPC village because it has something that you want or whatever. For a storyline, they better write a really good storyline with a really good voice acting, or I'm gonna be like not interested.
I hope so too, actually, because I like
'cause-
how it takes place on Earth. Like I like this.
Yeah. Like imagine like you could well I don't know if you could do this because everybody has to be on the same world and the same server kind of or I guess different servers, maybe the same world environment. Watching progression of society, I guess, like in an alternate way, and it somehow includes the player and stuff like that. But I don't know. It's hard to say what I would want out of a story. I know I don't want it to be something that's just kind of like, because like the problem with Black Desert Online for me was that like the storyline,
If we're gonna
it
get the
had
story,
one,
if we're gonna get
it had one, and it didn't have one. It was more of a like a monster grinder kind of a game for like for better gear, you know, better abilities, and I don't want this to be like, oh, here's another grinder, here's another, you know, here's more armor, here's more tools. That's all. And then like put the game in like 6 months or less, you know. That's what I'm kind of concerned about now after like, because nothing is confirmed and everything's always up in the air with alphas, so it's really be disappointing if it didn't turn out to be something more than what we have.
Right. So carrying over from what they've shown us with breaches, let's get to invasions, guys. And we've got a pretty big article, so I'm gonna kind of try to fly through this. So invasions, guys, are basically a culmination of the corrupted basically overtaking a territory to the point that they come at you like where you're at. So the breaches kind of spatter, I guess, just kind of appear throughout territories. And if those don't get dealt with, and I don't necessarily understand the capacity of being dealt with or not dealt with, where they're finally like, we're gonna come at you, they actually send an invasion force on your fort, and it's the same fort that will be used in the PvP wars. So it's the same kind of thing, but instead of fighting players, you're fighting these NPCs. And as you can see in this photo here, guys, this is actually a photo that's cut straight out of the end of the where is this? Out of the end of the what's it called? The trailer. So if you actually watch the trailer, these guys that are fighting, these are dudes, like these are explorers, right? And they find the amulet. And they're fighting corrupted. They're clearly in a corrupted area. Look at the ground. It's corrupted everywhere. So maybe they're fighting a corrupted breach right now. Maybe that's what this is depicting. But then you watch, are those supposed to represent us then? Because in the next scene, they're corrupted. Look at that. That's the guy that just got wrecked. And then look at this scene. Okay, you got your fort walls. You got fireballs being launched. You hear guns going off. You can hear the guns going off. Come on, play. Why aren't you playing? Right, look at that. Look at the guns going off. Look at this invasion force, boys. Like I hope that's what it's actually like. You see this? There's a mob of like hundreds of dudes here. Watch when this thing hits. These guys go flying. Look at this. Oh, I missed it already. But like, there's a lot of guys coming at this fort. Obviously, it's a dramatized what's this called again? Trailer. It's a cutscene or whatever you want to call it. But like, is it gonna be really that intense? Like, how many people are we gonna need to defend our fort? Is what kind of, I don't know if they've talked maximum. I know it's 50 for PvP. Is it 50 for these invasions, or is it 100? I don't know. That looks like an insane attack force that's coming upon this fort right now. And that kind of excites me. Actually, as much as I'm a PvP guy, this kind of looks pretty cool to me. If that's the type of scale, I'm the guy that wants scale. That's why the 50v50 wars really excites me, because I think scaled PvP is I think it's exciting, dude. But let's take a gander really quick at what they specifically tell us, because they gave us quite a bit of information. This came out 2 weeks ago, guys, about invasions. So this is titled Fight the World Invasions. Eternum is a mysterious and hostile land where you will fight to get a foothold and must be ready to defend it from invading forces, human and supernatural. In New World, when the forces of corruption have amassed enough strength in a territory, still don't know what that threshold is, they lay siege to the fort. This is called an invasion. During the battle, the defenders must protect their fort against escalating waves of enemies. So it's not kind of like a horde mode in a lot of other games where things come and then maybe a break and then more come. If the force is defending the fort is successful, which I believe it's a timer, probably 30 minutes because that's what it is for the wars. The corrupted army is repelled and the battle is won. If, on the other hand, the fort falls, the territory suffers and loses some upgrades such as crafting stages, fort gates, or fort turrets, so your fort battlements will get downgraded. The higher the territory's level, the more items get downgraded. So if your fort is stronger, it takes a bigger penalty. Post-battle, the corruption retreats to replenish their force, and the fort resets itself, restoring any structures that were destroyed. Don't spend too long upgrading your territory again, though, as invasions occur approximately every 4 days. Now, that sounds like it's a fixed timer. Does that mean no matter how we handle breaches, we get invaded? Or they can only happen every 4 days? Like, if you were to not handle it at all, 4 days is the quickest it can happen. Or, you know what I mean? Like, maybe, like, you are definitely clear for at least 4 days after this happened. But you can expand it however long if you succeed with the breaches. I'm not sure if that's what that means. How to participate in invasion. The day before an invasion, players can sign up for the event of the settlement's town board. The governor of the defending territory can choose 10 heroes to accompany them in the upcoming battle. So the governor gets to appoint 10 people. Like, he gets to hand select some people. The remaining 40, so I was right, it is 50 just like the war. Slots are randomly selected from players who signed up to take part in the next invasion. Note that only players at level 50 or above can participate in invasions, and I'm pretty sure we have confirmation max level 60, so you don't necessarily have to be max level to participate in invasions, which is kind of good. That's kind of important. I feel like if you can start giving us some of this end game before we're truly at the end, I think that's a really good way to hook us before we're there. You've been grinding and leveling, and you really want that content that's end game, and they give it to you a little early. I think that's a really good strategy. The preparation phase. When an invasion starts and you have been chosen to participate, you will be automatically transported to the fort, convenient, with your other teammates and provided with 50 battle tokens. For a brief period, players can use their tokens at the armory to better prepare for the fight, or save them for later to use during the invasion. So basically, this screen right here, you can, like, buy stuff. I don't know if it's, like, I guess consumer, in this screen, it looks like all consumables.
Are tokens a form of, like, currency in the game, or did they actually establish what type of currency there is for the game?
It sounds like a currency specifically for this type of event. So specifically for invasions, it's a currency you use within the armory that you can supply yourself with within those events.
They haven't really talked about. I find it interesting they haven't really, like, I know they said that they you get these tokens during, like, the preparation phase of the invasion, but I don't think I've seen anything here about how you get them.
They
or
just
like,
I mean, doing stuff successfully, maybe. You get 50 to start. I want to assume for doing things like killing a particular mob gives you more. I'm gonna assume. So, like, you probably get some throughout the invasion, but I don't know if you keep them once the invasion ends. Well, let's see here. Maybe it'll tell us. Battle tokens can be used on powerful ammunition and potions, incendiary mines, explosive powder kegs, and turret ammunition. So consumables for the most part. Furthermore, players can earn and use additional battle tokens by performing various actions during battle, such as killing, repairing, or healing. So participating, doing something right, being someone who's actually influencing the battle, killing baddies, keeping your friends alive, things like
pretty
that.
Decent.
The invasion. So it's battle time. After the preparation period, enemies start emerging from corrupted portals around the fort, kind of like breaches, I assume. This is the first of 8 waves of enemies, so it's 8 waves. So strategy and tactics, especially with battle tokens, I seem to really like these battle tokens, come into effect. Don't underestimate your enemies in this battle. You will have to adapt your combat style according to different kinds of creatures, each with different skills and abilities. Here's a list of some of the creatures. Now, here's my thing about this. I hope these are hard, because they talk about, like, if you lose. Like, I hope even some of the most, some of the well-prepared people maybe possibly fail. Because, like, otherwise, if we become geared enough and we never fail, there's, like, it just becomes another thing we do.
The only thing that I say to that is that they shouldn't be too hard to the point that, like, new people that just started playing the game can't participate unless they have, like, level scaling, because, like,
well, you can't play, you can't do it until you're level 50. So.
Oh, okay. Because I was gonna say in BDO, there's different, like, monster areas where they're, like, levels, 25 through 50 or through 32, whatever. But since they have a set thing,
this
then
is an
that's fine.
This is an end game thing. This is pure. Go ahead.
If it's gonna be end game thing, does that mean that there's nothing to do once you're done? Because that's a problem with a lot of, like, end game things. It's like, oh, we've done everything, now have nothing to do.
Scale.
I don't know. like this is where I say like this should be a game that has an environment that's like literally like alive and not just like you're getting toward like the end of something and then it's just like cut off point. Okay, there's nothing left to do. I'm bored. I'm going to stop playing now.
Well, there
like,
always has to be content added. That's what patches are for. It's a living, breathing world. That's just how MMOs exist. Now, I do, looking at the chat, make it scale off your level or gear. What if they made it in particular territories, different forts were at different levels? So maybe you could start participating at like level 30, because in this zone, this fort's own, you know, gets a level 30 invasion. That'd be kind of cool, because people could start participating in that type of content earlier, even earlier. You know, it would also be cool. It talks about there's different kinds of creatures and different skills. I hope there's not like a set invasion that's the same. Like, I hope there's like 5 different invasion combos. You know what I mean? Like, you know, it's not an exact same. Okay, here comes the archer's wave. Here comes the mini boss wave.
Like
here comes
like a mix of all of them.
You know what I mean? Like
utter chaos.
Yeah, and like we don't necessarily know what we're gonna get. Maybe there's like this RNG to the type of wave we get. There's 8 different waves, and there's like 10 different types of waves that we can get. But there has to be like maybe every 4th wave is a boss wave. But there's like 5 different bosses we could get. You know what I mean?
How about a boss in every wave just to make it stupid hard?
Or, you know, but like my point is like it's not the same bosses that we see every time.
Yeah.
There's like a pool of like 5 to 10 bosses, and I'm like, oh crap, it's the so-and-so boss. We're not prepared for that. We brought a bunch of archers, and it's a it's a fire breather or something. I don't know. It can launch fireballs at us, and we'd rather be up close.
Isn't that kind of what WoW was like? You could go into different dungeon areas and they would just spawn all these bosses and then people to use all the ability. Like that sounds, I feel like I'm listening to WoW right now.
I don't know how that's WoW. That's more like Rift.
I feel like
Rift.
WoW, that's more like Rift.
I thought WoW was a thing where like you go in these special areas and then there's all these like bosses or something and like I don't know. Like
there was a phase during Legion when they had Legion invasions. Yes, and there's also right now there are the Black Empire invasions, which are kind of like this, actually, sort of.
ESO trials. Yeah, that's
but
what
they're like mega fixed and not that exciting. More like ESO trials. I don't know what those are.
I think I know. I think I might
play
know
ESO
what. Yes.
right now.
Yeah, I know.
I think this is a little more different than anything I've seen in WoW. Though I understand Legion invasions were kind of like that, but not like there were waves of enemies and then a boss at the end, but like it was mega the exact same thing every time. I'm hoping that's not the case.
Yeah.
I'm saying I hope there's variance and they have so many different variations. So like let's read the types of things. Like grunts pose little threat, but when they swarm they can quickly take down any target, right? I hope there's like different types of grunts, or you know, you don't see like you'll see 3 grunt waves or you'll see so many grunts. Like I hope there's variance and sort of this different experience every invasion, even though it's a fixed amount of waves. You don't necessarily know exactly what waves you're gonna get, and I hope there's a good pool of types of waves so it's not the same experience every time, but you know what to prepare for because you've seen, you know, after 10 invasions, like, okay, well, I've seen all the, you know, wave types. I don't know what waves we're going to get this invasion, but I know when this type of wave comes, how to handle it. I haven't seen that wave type many times.
To be predictable. I want it to be completely unpredictable.
I mean, maybe they can add and grow to it. I don't know. Like I said, I hope that's the case. We don't know.
You know, it'd be fun. And this is where I'm more of a fan of machine learning stuff. If they can intertwine some machine learning algorithm that they're like, okay, we're supposed to kill these players and they're beating us, we need to up the scale, and the computer like decides what kind of, like, there's an AI things like, okay,
depending on how well we do, it gives us different waves. Oh, that'd be neat.
I'm all for that. I like that idea.
I like that idea a lot.
I would love
the game
some
adjusts to you.
Moving. Yeah.
See,
I mean, that's what I'm saying, and that's what I'm saying.
Fun.
Like that's where this game, I really want to be that different. Where there's literally like even like breaking technological barriers would be amazing.
I'm on the same page with that. The better you are, exactly. Like it understands like how quickly you defeated the first wave. It's like, all right, we're skipping these waves. We're giving you these waves. Because you know what I mean. That would be.
It's like,
what do you call it? A dynamic.
It's a computer.
A dynamic. I wish invasions would be that would be great. That's a really good idea. Invasions were dynamic. based on maybe it understands, when the invasion starts, it can take an average item level of everyone that's being involved, and it's like, okay, we need an invasion this difficult. That would be freaking cool. That sounds like some advanced crap. I want that. Because then the people who've gotten more gear can then still get harder content that grows with the player. That's a big deal when it comes to MMOs. Like, that's how you keep people hooked. Maybe the people who are really geared and they've done like 10, 12, 13 invasions are seeing the types of waves that someone who's brand new don't even see yet. So, like, kind of like in a patch in World of Warcraft where you start to see new raids, but even within a patch, you've got normal, heroic, and mythic. The people who are geared get to see the mythic versions of boss fights, and the people who aren't don't. Like, you have to earn that level of difficulty. That would be a type of dynamic. Now, obviously, that's not RNG; it's very fixed. But dynamic. That would be. I would like that. Dynamic invasions. Yes, that's a really good idea, Grid. Let's get back to this. They focus on so back to grunts. So they pose little threat when they swarm. They quickly take down any target. They focus on destroying structures. So when I think of grunts, I think of grunts from Halo, but I actually think of the undead. I forget the name of the unit from Warcraft. The little ghouls. I think they're called ghouls, maybe. The little from the undead race in Warcraft 3. There's a bunch of little ones. They all have claws, and they typically just swarm targets.
Kind of Zerg you.
Yeah, they Zerg you. I mean, there's the Zerg, too. If they can't reach one of them, if they can't reach a structure, they begin to attack players. So these things are going to favor structures. That's their AI makeup. Me, destroy wall. No wall? Me, destroy human. After a period of time, they start to frenzy, creating fast, intense, and increased damage while also burning themselves out. We recommend destroying guns. So that sounds like the zombies from World War Z, where you just see like a sea of really fast running zombies. That's
right.
Zombies are not my thing, dude.
Yeah.
I love zombies.
Yeah, zombies. Raiders are the shock troops of the invading force. I'm not sure what that means. They are skilled, tough, and well-equipped. So these are kind of your special ops. They're more than capable of handling themselves in melee combat. So these are going to be the ones that are harder to fight. You're going to have to have your head on a swivel with these guys. They focus on attacking players, but will attack structures if there are no players within range. So these AIs sound relatively advanced to what we're used to seeing in MMOs. So what I'm hearing from their verbiage about their AI, I'm excited to sound like there's going to be a pretty advanced AI system in this game when it comes to what we've seen in MMOs. They really want to show off the lumber. What's it called, Jazeel? Not the lumberjack. What's it called? What's the name of the What's the name of the engine of this game?
Don't remember.
Lumberyard. They really want to show off. I hope they're really showing off the Lumberyard engine with this AOI. Thank you, Bel Toro. Thank you.
Sorry, I blanked out.
No, I did too. You saw, I lost it, dude.
Wait,
they talk about the Lumberyard, engine is this special engine, and apparently there's one game that uses it already, and I can't remember what game it is right now. I'll have to look that up. Someone look up what uses the Lumberyard engine. I know there's a game that's using it already.
Grid's got it.
Thank you, Grid. Snipers hang back and take pot shots of players from afar. So they're gonna have their archers, and they're gonna have their riflemen. They prioritize targets on the ramparts and are effective at suppressing turrets. They're also evasive, dodging and ducking to avoid player attacks. So they're gonna be the guys lobbing at you from a mile away, taking out the people.
Fair.
Yeah, I know, right? I'm gonna be the guy lobbing from far away too. Bombers are runners with explosives strapped to their back. Now, I know there's a screenshot somewhere of this guy. That reminds me of the bomb from the beginning of Halo 2. Does it not? The bomb that he floats down to the ship. He says, what are you doing? Giving them back their bomb? Giving the Covenant back their bomb? That's what that reminds me, because it's got all the spikes.
I never saw that scene.
Okay. It's the beginning of I'm sad for you. It's a great.
Never play. I've only ever played Halo Combat Evolved. And
phenomenal game. Bombers are runners with
explosives.
Right?
Sorry.
With explosives? You gotta play that game. Bombers are runners with explosives strapped to their back. They run at structures and then blow themselves up. So these are I don't know if I should use that word. These are suicide bombers, dealing significant damage. It is highly recommended to take them down using ranged weapons because they explode on death. So they explode no matter what. These remind me of, if you guys have been playing Sea of Thieves lately, there's a lot of skeletons that walk around with powder kegs, and either they blow up or you shoot them and they blow up. Like great, I know. The amount of bombers, dude. I feel like they have so many too. So these are your guys who are literally sprinting at your walls, and their goal is to take out your wall any cost. Brutes. Which I think this is a brute right here. This freaking monstrosity here. Brutes are huge, hulking beasts that smash structures, so they'll be focusing on structures. They will occasionally attack players that annoy them, but are otherwise focused on destroying defenses. So it sounds like if you get a group of players focused on it, they'll change their mind. Brutes are very tough and require multiple players in order to defeat. Then you've got bosses. Can vary. Thank God. There it is right there. Bosses can vary. I hope there's a bunch of them. I really do. Some are focused on destroying structures, while others focus on attacking players. In addition, some of them apply buffs to other invading forces or debuffs to players. Ooh. So, doggo hype. Where's the dog? I didn't see my dog. Did you see that?
Oh, it's
different stream.
dog.
Different stream. I was like, I didn't see Izzy. What? Just kidding. There's other people here. So I'm gonna assume this is a brute. I could be wrong. That could be a boss. That thing looks beastly, though, doesn't it? I mean, who knows? The corruption will focus on destroying the gates first. Right, there it is. You can see the mobs right there coming at the gates. Then destroying the fort claim, which is how they beat you. During battle, players can use various structures to help defend the fort, such as turrets, droppers, support, and traps. Note that as with wars, only the company that owns the territory can build defense structures before the invasion commences. So you're actually, like, before the invasion, you're, like, what's the word I'm looking for? You're, like, what's it called when you, like, reinforce your battlements and stuff? When you build up you'll fortify your fort. There's the word. You'll be building fortifications, it sounds like, before an invasion starts. Here's more information about each defense structure. Turrets, such as ballista, repeater, which is this thing, I'm assuming. This freaking, like, chain gun turret, right? And explosives provide a means to attack enemies from a safe distance and prevent them from reaching the gate. So we will have some guns. There's going to be... Then there's this thing right here, which is like hot tar. Droppers are highly effective against infantry, but ineffective against anything at range. The fire dropper pours molten liquid on enemies below, making it great for defending the gate. So I'm assuming there will be a type of upgrade on how effective your dropper is over your gate. Support structures can be used to buff players or debuff enemies, such as the Horn of Resilience. We actually get a name of an item. Horn of Resilience that provides a defensive buff to all nearby teammates. Now, how close is nearby? Everyone in your team, or everyone within 20 yards? While the buff is active, your teammates can reduce... I can't read today. While the buff is active, your teammates take reduced damage and heal over time. Do not underestimate the Horn, as it can turn the tide of battle if used at the right time. So it sounds like it's a big cooldown, too. Who knows how long it works. Traps are deployable defenses that can be placed in the battlefield. Players can obtain them from the armory and use them like any other deployable. So there'll be traps you can actually buy that are specific to this. Throughout the battle, players can keep a close eye on the in-game details by looking at information at the top of the screen. This includes specific player objectives, invasion time remaining, the current wave of attack, and the total waves. So there will be some information going on. It won't just be all... There'll be a HUD. There will be a HUD. The ending. Players will win an invasion by protecting the fort claim until the time limit is reached. The invasion is lost if the enemies destroy the fort claim within the time limit. After the battle, the corrupted forces fall back to regain their strength and prepare for the next invasion. Win or lose, players who contribute to the battle are rewarded with XP, in-game currency, and loot. So whether you win or lose, I'm assuming that there'll be better rewards for succeeding than there are if you don't. I mean, that would make sense to me. Finally, they are released back into the stunning yet dangerous land of Eternum. I love how they put a little flex in there. Should players be defeated, it will cause a downgrade to their territory. Players will receive some XP, loot, and Azoth depending on how many waves were completed. So even if you fail, you do get more rewards the better you do, at least. Check out more information about upgrading and downgrading territories by clicking this article, which talks about making your mark. Do you have what it takes to defeat the corrupted, defend your fort, and become a local hero? Some invasion designs may change based on testers' feedback. So they're actually still working on that. They're still working on invasions. It's good to know. Thanks for the follow. Oh yeah, email me about it. Real nice. You're welcome. Drop by. Yo, it's really nice to meet you. 10,000 and Merkix. I'm gonna get all of that. Thank you guys for the follows. Really appreciate it. Welcome to the Cave of Wonders, gentlemen, and welcome to A Whole New World podcast. Guys, one thing I want to talk about is winning and losing, right? So loot. This sounds like the kind of the, just like wars are the major PvP climax type of event. This is clearly, at least what they've told us so far, the climax PvE type of event, something people will really want to show up for. This is probably going to give really good rewards, gear, things like that. It sounds like it rewards you based on how well you do. So basically, the further you get through an invasion, the more you get. But what I'm concerned about is what they tell you what happens. When they're done, after the battle, the corrupted fall back and regain their strength. So that's it. Like, whether they win or lose, you win or lose, they're gone. What I really would like to see is the same thing that happens when a company wins an attacking battle. What if, when an invasion occurs, you lose the fort, the corrupted basically inhabit your territory for a while? Like, basically, breaches will basically be popping up for 3 days no matter what. You know what I mean? Like, breaches will just completely take over the zone. Your settlements will be inhabited by corrupted. Like, it almost becomes corrupted land for maybe 3 days or such. And like, maybe you can fight it back to get it come back sooner. You know what I mean? Like, I hope they basically take over your territory, and unless you do something about it, you don't got your territory for 3 days. And like, maybe you can take it back. You know what I mean? Like, talk about a changing and breathing world, like you said earlier, Grid. I want the corrupted to actually have control and like. So then the question
becomes,
like, that would be really cool.
Well, the question becomes then, well, if I can inject in here real quick.
Go for it.
The question I have in here then is that if these corrupted take over your world for like 3 days, that means then where does the company that occupied, where do they go? Do they have to have like a new home? Do they get sent back to a spawn, like a default spawn? Do they have to like make a new base somewhere? Like, that's kind of like a really up in the air thing, I guess, because like they lose their territory for certain days, and then why would the like corrupted like sit there for 3 days? Like, shouldn't they sit there indefinitely, like real life wars where like you would have to go back too. They'd have to go back and fight for that.
I mean, and you mean like do an invasion but reverse? Like, yes, you're the invasion force? I mean, that'd be kind of cool too. Here's my response to the indefinitely. I think that could grow weary on the player base. Like, if these are really hard and
war is weary.
It is weary. I mean, that's a great question. I mean, I think it should be a fixed amount of time. It should be a penalty that's really, really harsh, but not forever. But it would be kind of cool if there were territories that were corrupted controlled, and you had to invade the fortress, just like if you were invading an enemy company fortress. That would be interesting.
I kind of like, I know devs can't say a whole lot, but I really kind of wish there was a dev here just so we could be like, can we just like interview
yo, AGS. Right now there's 3 factions that can take over territories. What if there were a 4th that you couldn't be a part of? What's up, Mr. Legit? Welcome back. What if the corrupted could hold territories? So like on the map, you've got 3 different factions and then corrupted territories too. Like that were lost to the corrupted. That would be kind of sick. Oh,
that would be cool.
I like the sound of that. Like, instead of it being a fixed amount of time, they actually have it now. And like, going there is like mega dangerous now. Like, if you need to get particular resources, like, it's dangerous to get them.
And the longer you wait to go back, the harder the enemy becomes because
Maybe
they've
to a
had
cap.
time to gather. They've gathered their numbers, kind of a thing.
10,000 brings up a really good point. It would give PvE people something to do.
Mm-hmm.
If Corrupted were basically taking over territories along with other companies,
And companies. Yeah.
now you've got your PvEers in your company like, hey, we just lost that invasion, but it's not PvP. Yo,
And-
PvEers, because now PvEers can basically contribute in the same way PvPers do. You know,
Okay,
this
so I
big
have one other
PvP,
idea.
this really big war campaign that happens among the factions is all PvP based, and the PvEers probably don't want to contribute in that way. That basically takes them out from attacking a territory in a war.
Well,
But if you
the
gave
flip
them this
side-
type of content, then
yeah.
yo PvEers, we just lost this territory. We need you to go get it back for us. We don't really
Yeah,
like
like
doing it.
'cause
That's
my thing-
really cool.
Because my thing is like, imagine that you had like two different companies. One's PvP based, one's PvE
Right.
based, and you have to make alliances,
Mm-hmm.
and you form a larger army,
Yeah.
and then you go back and take it from the environment. It's like, okay, we can choose to either keep our alliance,
Mm-hmm.
or we break our alliance and you guys go our separate way, or we'll just kill each other, and and whoever kills each other is the one that also takes the land. Land is always up for grabs.
Yeah, but I think it should be up for grabs for even the world. That's a great idea, dude. Yo, Amazon, if you're listening, this
If
would be
they're
a
listening.
huge thing for PvEers to do. Give the Corrupted control of territories. Make these invasions very punishing. Because here's the thing, PvEers are going to be the ones defending the forts too. I get there's going to be people who do both content, but that's a PvE thing, to defend your territory against
Because
an
I
invasion.
like tactic based stuff, because things that like you're like, okay, so they have control of, say, let's just imagine that like the environment has control of a certain land, and like, okay, do we attack from the north wall, from the south wall, from the east wall?
Right.
Which side do we attack on? What's their weakest? Like, there's literal scouting that you have to do, and there's literal like battle planning you literally have to do. Like, I don't see a game make you do that.
Mm-hmm. That would be something I feel like
Suggested on the forums.
I was gonna say, I feel like, yo, if anyone's an alpha, hit them up on the forums right now. I feel
Yeah,
like
and
that's
just-
something I haven't seen in a game.
Just mention my name.
Just mention my name.
Credits, copyright.
Oh my gosh. I feel like that's something we haven't seen yet, is like
Mm.
NPC controlled territories that they take from
Mhm.
players. That would be
Mhm.
mega unique, and now I want this. Okay, I was talking about like if you lost the town for a few days. We're basically saying it's part of the territory war. Like,
Mhm.
that would be kind of lit, don't you think? And then
Yeah,
at that
I mean,
point,
it could
you
be
know,
stressing, but if
Yeah.
you do it right, it wouldn't be stressing.
Well, when
You
they
just have
also-
to plan correctly.
they also talk about, you know, within the devs, like, you've got these companies and these other factions that say you've got two faction territories right next to each other, and you guys don't like each other, and you guys war over each other quite a bit, and then suddenly, you know, their territory starts getting in, you know, corrupted breaches, and then gets invaded, and you're kind of like, let's go PvP there now, so that they can't fight their breaches, right? And he talks about like, well, maybe, you know, a way of actually PvPing with the breaches is when you see an opposing faction's territory that's clearly in trouble with breaches, you go and you go PvP there. Like, you go into that zone and you start wreaking havoc, so that it's more difficult, to the point that invasion does occur. And now we can basically influence and weaken them, so that now we can declare war, and their battlements are weaker, or whatever happens. Like, maybe that would be a way of like basically making sure they lose to the corrupted. Now, instead of having a PvP battle, we go take the territory from the corrupted through a PvE battle. Like, that would create some really dynamic territory wars.
Yeah, it really would.
I want this now. I want this.
Well,
I need this.
I will only want this if they actually drop it into the game, and it's a function that literally stays. If not, then like it's still up in the air for me to say yay or nay if I want to.
This sounds cool. I'm just saying, this sounds sick, and I want it. So that's. I hope.
Well, it's
I hope
speculation.
that's in it. I hope that's.
Well,
I
it's
hope
hard
they
to
do
say.
this.
It's hard to say if you want it because like we are all speculating, and
Right.
speculating is never fact, obviously. So this is a theoretical if.
Well, if they
But
bring it,
until it becomes
I'll be happy.
But someone has to suggest it first. That's the thing.
Or not. Maybe they're working on it. I don't flipping know. I mean, AGS, put this in the game. Okay.
Done.
AGS.
There we go.
Make the
Official.
corrupted be a real threat. Not one that's annoying and downgrade
Not
your
little
stuff.
pipsqueak.
Make them a faction that can take your stuff, just like a player can. Like a player faction. That's an idea. We need to hit the forums if we all need to hit the forums. Alright, guys, we're gonna watch a video. This video is from the famous Sir If I'm gonna read this real quick. It would also mean the guilds will not just be exactly. You would want a healthy group. Exactly. And that's kind of why I like this idea, 10 is you're gonna want people in your because as much as a faction controlled as much as you're gonna it'll be a faction controlled territory, it'll be a specific company. So you're gonna want your PvEers and PvPers in your company now because you're going to want people who are better at fighting PvE so they don't lose it. And if you go see a territory you want that gets taken by the corrupted, you're going to want your PvEers to go take it now for you. Like, that would be kind of a big deal. Like, that would definitely bring the PvE and PvP communities closer together, I feel like. I really do. Which you need in a healthy game. You want them to complement each other. Let me see. You want a healthy group of both, just so you don't, just so you can pick the 10 base players out of your guild. That would be cool. You definitely find much more diversity in your guilds than just the PvE guilds and the PvP guilds. That would bring a lot of cohesion to the community, I feel like. All right, so that's exciting, and I'm glad. This idea being in my brain, I will be unhappy if it's not there now. Guys, if you're watching this and you are in the alpha, go to the please go to the forums and like start screaming at AGS that we want the corrupted to inhabit. Take away territories if they win the invasion. Now we're going to talk about something that hasn't been talked about all that much, ladies and gentlemen, and that is called they're called arenas. Now, the only stuff I can find about arenas right now is actually in a Sir Medieval video. There was an interview on I believe it was a French website, so I can't speak French, so I can't read French, that talks about these things called arenas, and Sir Medieval gives us a video that kind of talks about what's in that article. Clearly, he had it translated. So we're going to watch it, we're going to pause a few times, and we're going to discuss what he talks about. But this is something that no one's really talking about, I've seen anywhere, because it's just not, it hasn't been in any dev blogs. It is no knowledge. This isn't an alpha leak. This is stuff that is out there. You just got to go look for it.
No matter how big or small the details, when the New World info starts dropping, there's no way we can't answer the call. What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to yet another day in Eternum. I know we've already went over a hell of a lot of detail for this game, but to my surprise, we're still getting little info drops of new stuff here and there. This one specifically comes from a recently posted article by main-mmo.de, which for those of you who don't know, they are also the article site that went over the very first details of the Horde mode and the streamer armies.
Which
it looks like
I
they
still
have
don't
in fact
know
been
anything
blessed
about.
with some details about the PvE system and saw fit to bestow it upon us. Now, of course, player-verse environment has been a big cause of concern after the player-verse-player changes of New World, most notably because people feel like the game might not have enough player-verse environment content to supplement the loss of open-world PvP. And even though me personally, I wouldn't expect this game to have as much PvE content as one that's been out for 6 to 10 years right off the bat, but it's important that we pay attention to these topics so that everybody knows what we're getting into. So last week in the Dark Side of Eternum video, we briefly touched on how a recent article from GameStar did include some information that we mostly knew about regarding the open world PvE content. Instead of seeing instance dungeons and raids like we would see in a traditional
my mic was off. I want to stop and read the little piece of stuff he has here. So they're going to talk about. He's going to say
MMO. Instead, we will see different points of interest around the world that
I
act
just
as
lost
open
audio.
world dungeons, and some of them.
You lost my audio?
Oh, now you're back. Okay, that was weird. It was like
That
a
was
sudden
weird.
cut.
That is weird. That is weird.
Do
Some of you do that again. Sorry.
For the win.
PvE content. Instead of seeing instance dungeons and raids like we would see in a traditional MMO, instead we will see different points of interest around the world that act as open world dungeons.
Okay, so there's going to be points of interest that act like open world dungeons. Now, this is something they haven't talked about much either. Basically, there's going to be locations that are like a dungeon, but it's not an instance. You have to battle your way through it. So let's actually read this little thing that he's got here. New World, this is no separate dungeons needed. This is on GameStar, apparently. I gotta find this stuff, guys. New World does without separation of the upper world and individual dungeons, which we explore separately. All battles, stories, and quests will be encountered directly on the island of Eternum. No loading screens, that means, besides loading into the game. The exact map size is not yet known. That's old, because we know it's like 42 square kilometers. However, the world should bring different biomes, settlements, and areas in which the players struggle for supremacy, which, together with the server strength of Amazon, suggests a respectable extent. Instead of dungeons, we find different points of interest in the upper world. I don't know what that means exactly. Such as abandoned pirate ship. At these points, you have to advance through various layers that work very much like dungeon levels. The challenge gets bigger, and the tension increases. A bit like open world onions? That says onions, right? A bit like open world onions. I think you meant dungeons? Maybe?
Yes, they're talking about the layering.
Oh, onion layers.
Mm.
Ogres are like onions.
Right.
So we gradually fight our way. I think they just made a
Terrible
Shrek
movie.
reference. So we gradually fight our way to the core, past stronger and stronger opponents, and get better and better loot. Now that kind of makes me hope that like you won't necessarily clear a dungeon on the first try. Like you have to go back and try it more and more because you've gotten more gear. By the way, if we are in a group, everyone will get their own instanced loot. Oh. So we can spontaneously join other adventurers in the fight and then go our way again. Now, this also makes me wonder, the reason they probably do dungeons like this is because you'll have to fight for them, maybe. Like PvP. Now, we're not forced to do PvP, but what if you get to a dungeon and, like, there's someone already doing it? Like, what are you going to do? Like, that clearly means there's going to be competition over these real-world dungeons. At least I assume.
This open world dungeons, and some of them do actually have functions like dungeons where the deeper we go into them, the more challenge we will face as we fight through the stronger mobs
yeah, do you have
to
a
get
link
to
for
the
that
best
so I can
loot
like look at
possible.
that article? 'Cause I don't think
Along
I
with
have
this, as
I can't find that article.
Oh.
It's that's why I read that, because like
Oh,
I
gotcha.
looked down in the information below, and like it's not there. It's not. You get this direct French article, you get this MMORPG link, details from alpha, interviews from MMO huts, dev diary, sneak peek, but like none of them bring me to that, which is frustrating because I want to find it. Now I could just go to the website probably, but
Yeah.
that would be the name of the website. Was GameStar. GameStar.de. That is not going to be English. That's right. Who cut my hair? I did not get a haircut. I trimmed my beard. I had a feeling someone would thought I got a
I
haircut
have
today.
quarantine hair, lol.
So do I. No, my hair. I just completely finally did my beard, bro. It's just nice and trimmed and neat. So that's. I literally thought someone's gonna think I got a haircut. If his heel bar is red, I'm going to bop him. What? Can you link us, Jafar? I wish I had. Yeah.
Well,
Ignore.
cool part is Google translated the website for me, so
You can do that? How do you do that?
yeah, it's built in.
Well, whenever I go to the... Oh, wait, are you using Google Chrome?
Yes, like a normal person.
No, I am a Firefox guy.
I feel sorry for you.
I bet there's an extension I can get. Dude, I can't stand Chrome. It's so bloaty, dude. It slows down your
Not-
machine so much. I
Uh,
have Chrome. It's right here, and maybe I'll use that for these
Oh.
sites. But when I run Chrome, dude, it's so bloaty.
I don't have that issue whatsoever.
Oh,
but I also
I have an
I
older
also
computer.
have. Oh, I also have more RAM too. So
I have
whatever.
32 gigabytes of RAM.
Same.
Yeah. No, it's not the issue.
Yeah.
The issue is I'm on an
Alright.
FX 8350.
Oh. Okay.
Why do you think
Continue.
I have... Oh, you don't see it. Why do you think I have a goal for your computer?
Oh no, I didn't see that.
It's not here right now. It's in a different screen. I don't have it in this screen. Anyways,
Instead, we will see different
I will
groups
have
of
to do
interest
that
around
on
the world
Chrome.
that
Thanks
act
for the
as open-world
suggestion.
Dungeons. And
You're
some of them
welcome.
do actually have functions like
I'm
dungeons
just trying to
where
find-
the
I'm
deeper
trying to
we
go
go
through
into them,
their-
the more challenge we will face as we fight through the stronger mobs to get to the best loot
trying to go through
possible.
their site. to bring
Along
up
with
the,
this,
the
as
little
we know, we
article.
will also encounter field or
There's
world
the world
bosses in the
bosses.
open world, but we haven't had much info on this specific aspect yet.
Like
They
my
do talk
computer's
about
running
some
at 100%
undiscovered
load right now.
environment
That's why the
content that will
video's
come
lagging.
across in New World in this one. They say that aside from regular points of interest that will come across in the world, like
Let me try this at 720. See if
like
it runs
abandoned
better.
pirate ships of the Lost, we'll also see
Nope,
actual
really
open
choppy.
world areas that function like big dungeons. They'll have trash
There's
mobs
an
that come in groups
article
and pairs
posted
that
in
we'll have to
February
work
about,
through, which get harder and harder the further we get.
New
And
World,
in
the
these big
alternate
dungeons, we'll finally
to
come across the
WoW
main bosses
scheme.
that will need entire groups to take on,
That's
which
the
makes me
article or
hope that we'll
not.
see some big creatures of corruption or even the Angry Earth faction like this
Ooh.
unknown beast.
What
There's
is
only
that?
a few creatures that we've seen so far that seem like they could be special bosses in
Whoa.
the game, but I would love seeing us being given the chance to take
There's
them on at
Isabella.
certain points of the island, especially this Diablo-looking creature.
Yep.
But after this, they jump into a really important topic that wasn't included in the other articles in detail
Oof.
up until this point. So just to give a baseline
I don't need
to this,
features.
a couple weeks ago when we had our discussion regarding player versus player content while there were still rumors about the opt-in system, we did talk
Hold
about
on.
some
You-
suggestions to supplement the change if it were to happen. One of the things I brought up is something I would love to see, like dimensional rifts that act as dynamic events out in the open world.
I
You
want
travel to them
events
manually,
too.
and once they
I want
start, you
events.
have to fight against other players and maybe even other creatures to earn your reward. This is not the mechanic that was revealed today, but
not.
it looks like there will be something similar to it in the open world,
This
which
will-
means that it could open the door to other mechanics that would also follow the same rules. And it looks like this specific mechanic is called arenas. And no, it's not like the PvP type of arena that we could jump into whenever
Which I
we
want.
wanted,
I want
although that
arenas,
does sound
please.
pretty cool too.
Please give
It's
me
actually
PvP
more like a
arenas.
survival gladiator arena that we can
That's
team
right.
up with a group of 5 with and then
Mhm.
take on a series of elite monsters. It doesn't say if it comes in waves or if it's just one specific boss fight, but to enter this instance we need a key of some sorts. This
A
key allows our
key.
groups
So
to
it'll
enter
have
the arena,
attunements.
but once we do, not only can we not go outside the arena, but players on the outside won't be able to watch what's going on inside. Also, one thing to note is that if we die while doing the arena, we immediately lose the key that we used to get into it. The developers state that these monsters we're facing in the arena will be so difficult that they'd completely dunk on us if we took them on alone. And if we're able to succeed in these arena fights, we'll receive a lot of rewards from it. They didn't specify how we would get these keys, but I would imagine it would be tied down to grinding mobs in the open world or getting loot in other ways. But even though this sounds really cool, and also like a great way to make sure there's enough content in the game for PvE, the best thing about it is not that we're able to do it, but that Amazon Game Studios has the capability to design it. Just like the Dimensional Rift idea that we spoke about before, seeing dynamic events like this arena would greatly expand what we're able to do in the world, and also what we can suggest for the future. With this kind of system, we could have specific dynamic events tied to PvP, like you would see in a PvP-based world quest like a game from World of Warcraft. Or perhaps we can see an instance that features field bosses that we'd have to take on with like 20 people or more,
Whoa.
or have to go into a big room to fight a boss like Kazarka. Although instead of it being inside the instance, it would be much better to see the bosses in the open world. Or a chain of dynamic events that leads up to a big one that we might need about 100 players or more to take on. Something like that would be great to see. Or
I
even one
want
of my personal
I want there to be events like the opening of Anchorage. I refuse to miss that. I'm still gonna be there for that. Even though I haven't been able to get to level 60 in Classic WoW, I refuse to miss that. I missed it the first time. There is one thing in video games I want to be a part of, and that's the opening of Anchorage. I want some type of event like that in this game. World of Warcraft has not had an event like it since, and I think that's a crime.
favorites, Hellgate's like you would see in Albion. But honestly, more than anything, I'm just curious to see what they're planning at this point. We probably won't see a long list of content that can satisfy us for a full year's time, especially right off the bat, but the
Right.
list is definitely growing. And I know that our MMO community is always ravenous for a AAA title, or
Yep.
even at the very least, a decent experience. So like we said before, even if the game doesn't suit your needs right at the beta start or launch, don't forget to keep looking back. Even games like ESO or Guild Wars 2 didn't start out in the best of states, or even Black Desert Online. Despite how much beef that game and myself might have, I can't deny that with a little bit of time, it's certainly come a long way. And that goes for all titles. We've got so much that's coming in the next years, and all that I hope is that there will be enough out there for everyone to find their new homes in the genre. Let's keep our fingers crossed on that one. But back to New World, it's great to see that we're still learning about new content we'll be coming across while exploring the island. At this point, for the player versus environment aspect, we know about mechanics like the Horde, the points of interest, these open world dungeons and raids, the arenas, the
Is
corrupted
Horde mode
breaches, of course the
invasions?
grinding areas and quests we'll have access to, and the town projects plus faction missions, alongside all the life skills and housing stuff we'll
I
have.
hope
That's
Horde mode
shaping up
isn't
to be
like
a
some
very
sort of
decent list of
pullover
stuff we'll
from
be
like
able
World
to
of
do on
Warcraft
that
or
side of the
something,
game.
'cause that's
But
gonna
all
make
in
me
all,
upset.
that's everything we have to go over
Like, oh,
today.
there's Horde
In
mode,
other quick
ah.
news, Amazon Game
Similar
Studios
to
has filled their
everything.
position for the release manager role. Their duties include all things related to the releases for New World. So hopefully
And
that
he had
means
to
we'll get
delay
ourselves
it.
a smooth launch phase during the month
He
of
had to
May.
delay
Or as
it.
smooth as a launch could be
Housing,
for an
right?
MMO, that is. But on that note,
Good
folks, I am
housing.
really curious to see your thoughts on this. Now that we have a better understanding of what to expect in the game, do you think we'll have enough player versus environment content to
Which
last
is
long
what I
enough
was
for their
asking
content
start of
updates to
this-
start
this
rolling through?
video-
Or is there
this,
more that you would like to see on the player
podcast.
versus environment side
Will there be
still?
enough?
Let us all know in the comments
least it's
below.
at the
Also,
start.
be sure to stay tuned for their next upcoming developer blog that outlines the corrupted breaches of New World.
This is an older video. So that's some cool information there on top of the arenas. But the arenas, like I said, Jaziel, really remind me of Circle of was it Ring of Blood? Ring of Blood. And obviously that was a relatively popular quest at every expansion, World of Warcraft. Whenever an expansion came out, it was when you got to the right level, dude, where's the Ring of Blood, right? It was obviously called something different each time, but it was fun and it was quick XP, but relatively one-dimensional. If this is going to be a major deep PvE type, if this is going to be a major PvE mechanic, how do you think they're going to be able to implement this to keep our attention? Like, what other arenas have you seen in the MMOs you've played, and who's done it right and who's not?
I
That
mean,
was a Jaziel, sorry, because he's done this a lot.
Sorry.
I think what was missing from the iteration done in World of Warcraft was something Greg is probably going to address, the randomness of it. And you knew that there were a set number of waves, and you knew that they got progressively more difficult, and there was progressively more mechanics to manage.
Mega scripted.
But it was the same thing every time. And there was always a way to go to a website and go, okay, you need to do this certain thing at this certain time, and you can solo it, kind of. And I'm pretty sure, or well, I want to be sure.
You're hopeful.
I'm hopeful that they are going to put, as all three of us have been explaining tonight, some randomness into it, and that it's not just a simple each wave gets more difficult kind of thing. Right. I wouldn't mind having two difficult waves, and then the third one is not so bad, and then you think, oh, well, what's the odds that's going to go, oh, that dude looks mean. Oh, I'm dead. I would love to have it randomized with maybe some kind of fail safe in there that the last one's not going to be a pushover, because we don't like getting to the end of something and then feeling like, oh, that's it. Oh,
that's it.
I mean, God mode is always awesome.
Well, yeah,
totally.
It's fun.
I just hope they have a good variety, but like randomness. Do you think randomness, even with you're saying, so say there's like 10 different one of these spread out throughout the world. You're saying even within those, you hope there's randomness or deviations or variations.
Deviation and maybe
or dynamic.
Even the dynamic's a great word for it. Even the number of mobs that it sends at you. Maybe on the first wave you get 3, and second wave you get at 3 again, and it lures you into a false sense of security, and then you get 10 on the third one.
It sounds like it's gonna be more just bosses with these. I don't know if
it does.
It's not gonna be like waves. There might be some boss battles that are 2 or 3 mobs, but it describes it as boss-like. Like it's basically a series of boss battles.
It does, but I mean, they could still play around with that. I mean, have bosses come in with little helpers, which that's something that's been done in other MMOs, not necessarily in arena style, but of course, when I heard arena, I instantly went to Smite, which I know a whole lot of people didn't play that, but
Smite is gross. I've seen gameplay of it. It's gross.
Okay,
I like to me it is.
I liked the arena mode in it. Was what I liked the most in it. It gave you this arena, and you fought against NPCs and players alike, and I found it to be pretty fun. I don't play it anymore and haven't played it in some time. I'm not a huge MOBA player, but I mean, it looks really cool, but yeah, I want some randomness to it, and I definitely there was another idea that I was kind of tossing around in my head, but I'm not sure how it would work out. That you could hop in there and then defeat that enemy, but there's a chest in the middle, and then you have to fight other players for it. But I think that's
Ooh.
not really. I don't think that's what they're aiming for.
Yeah.
But it would combine PvE and PvP into it, and
Mm-hmm.
kind of step the risk up a little bit more, which
Which is what the
again,
game was originally a lot about.
right, right.
Yeah. I was about to say something, I can't remember what it was. We're talking about arenas. Oh my.
Wait.
I don't remember what I was gonna say.
Rip. Been there.
Yeah. Funny.
I've been doing that all day.
Yeah. Fight other
The weather.
players? Yes, just yes. I need more of that. I agree, 10,000. I need more fighting other players. So I'm blanking on my brain right now, boys. That there was more to talk about, and I don't remember what it was. But it sounds like if they have enough variation, that this could be a lot of fun. Arenas. I hope again they have PvP arenas. I hope they have open world PvP arenas. But these sound like, if there's enough variation between different ones, it could keep people busy for a while.
I will step in just real quick and say, because we supposedly, at least it's a rumor floating around, and we've gotten little tiny nuggets that we're probably stretching way too far. But supposedly there's going to be world bosses out there. And if all that the arena is going to be is
A series of
a world boss fight inside of a confined area with only so many players allowed to, then
now I remember what I was gonna say.
why put it in the arena?
Yeah.
You might as well have it out there in the world that people can run across and get smashed over the head a couple times, and then call their buddies to come help them, while the other factions are coming in trying to kill them and get that loot too, and you end up having to fight them.
I like the concept I like the approach that that Sea of Thieves has given me personally as a gamer, where I could be sailing back to port with my ship full of loot, and in the process of suddenly there's either another player, or two, a ghost ship and another player, and I'm having to dodge two evils here and stuff. And that's kind of what I like about the game. Like it's really, really tough, but it's also really fun that way. And I don't like the idea of that you're confined. You must go to this special area, and this is where you fight. Like that's not real life. Like the danger is everywhere, And so I like the idea of that. Like danger is everywhere.
Yeah, I like
kind of
that
in a
too.
thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't know, and especially the other thing comes to like if you're gonna stream this, okay? We're talking about this from a streamer
Right.
perspective, right? So like I find World of Warcraft incredibly boring to watch.
It is
Absolutely
boring to watch.
so boring
It
to
is
watch.
boring to watch. I agree.
I find BDO extremely boring to watch. Guild Wars and any of that stuff. And I think it's like it's if somebody streams New World
Mhm.
and danger's everywhere. Imagine that streamer is like talking to his audience, and all of a sudden he's just like, "Oh snap!" and just this giant boss pot yeeted across the map because something
Fell
showed up.
Reavers in the Hellfire Peninsula, right, Sir Jazeel?
Yeah.
Right. I was gonna say,
I can't make a
there is
sound.
that.
You just walk around Hellfire and you just hear that sound. You're like, no, you're pretty
I
much
still
dead.
wake up to that sound in the middle
That's
of
the
the night.
sound you hear right before you die. Is the sound a Fell Reaver makes.
Yeah.
What I'm just trying to say is that I think that it would really do them better to not be like, you must go to this specific area, because what if I don't know, like people are lazy. Not everybody's gonna want to make the trip out to somewhere, and so people are like,
great this time of year.
well, what I don't know. I just they shouldn't do it. It's not something they should it's not a direction they should go, honestly.
I think so I remember what I wanted to talk about really quick, and that's this
Go
is
for
how it differs. So we got New World Order show talking about they announced world bosses are different from the arenas, and you're right. So world bosses will be this big thing. You just hang out in the world. I don't know if they patrol a zone or maybe they just travel. Keys. He talks about the keys in this video. How they will be attuned, so there will be attunements to these arenas, and it sounded like once it's over, you have to acquire the key again. So there's gonna be people who you have to earn your way into these arenas, which tells me they probably give great loot. But that also means it's not just get 50 people together and go head over to the world boss that hangs out in said zone. It's hey, we have to go, and it probably takes a group type of level of content to go get the attunement. It might not be really hard, but it might require 3, 4, 5 people to go get one of these keys to get into the arena. So that sounds kind of cool to me, that there'll be attunements, and I bet the attunements might be more difficult or easier depending on the particular arena. So that's cool. I like attunements. I always thought attunements got lost in World of Warcraft over the years because I feel like it's like bragging rights. It's like if you had a particular piece of gear that was gotten from a dungeon that had to be attuned, like that was a big deal. Like, whoa, dude, you got this thing. Like, that means you put in the effort and then also succeeded at killing said boss in attunement. Like, I think that's a real badge of honor in particular MMOs.
And I
that's
think
missing
also
these days.
I think also too, and not to sound like kind of, I don't know what the word would be, like, I don't like whiners in a game. I try not to be a whiner myself in a game if I can help it. I get frustrated at the most. But I think like it would be nice if it's like this is the game for the people who, you know, like this is gonna take some hardcore dedication to it. You're not gonna be able to just like, you know, sit here and be like, oh, this is a fun game, man, and then like leave and then I don't know, do something else or not come back to it or whatever. I'd you know, it would just be nice for people to, you know, do that.
I hope there's a level of content. I think what you're trying to say is I hope there's a level of content that it's available for every type of commitment. The hardcore player, the casual player, the person who I can play this, you know, so many hours a week, or I have a family, I can only play this on the weekends. But there's a good amount of involvement for either of those types of parties, because there's going to be a range of hardcore PvPer versus the person who only cares about doing arenas, or the person who wants to be on for every single invasion of, you know, to make sure they never lose. You know, I hope there's something for everyone, because that's kind of the magic potion. I feel like a magic elixir for MMOs is, do you have something? That's where WoW has tried to go, is we want everyone to have something to do, no matter what their commitment level is. I think that's important.
I hated WoW because there was a level of commitment that just seems stupid. It's like it excluded people that if you're not willing to put the time in, you can't play this. I'm just like, not to mention subscriptions are stupid.
Yeah, agreed. They've moved away from those types of commitments, but the hardest content requires that type of commitment still, which I think is wise.
That's what advertising's for.
Right. All right, so let's quickly, we've got about 15 minutes, guys, and we'll go through. I've got three questions for y'all. We're going to talk about story. Story has not been alluded to really at all, except for in that trailer. There's a girl talking, there's a girl's voice, and at the end of the trailer, we see a chick, okay? Is that her talking to us? She's got a kind of Latino accent to her, right? And Isabella is kind of that's a Latino name, and this is most likely these were Portuguese explorers, or maybe Spanish or French or Italian explorers. Like, they haven't given us much information. So the questions I've been asking is, we want to talk, who is Isabella? Everyone's talking about Isabella. Who do you think Isabella is, or who do you want her to be? Go ahead, Grid. Let's start with you. Who's Isabella? Is she this robot, or is she a conqueror?
Well, like I saw a little bit of it. I don't know if there's like a screenshot.
We can go back.
I watched some of the video of it, and I assume it's somebody that's critical to the game in some regard. I don't know if it's like a protector of the land, or if it's some kind of like.
There she is.
I have found the image up on the screen here. I don't know. Maybe she's like some dark spirit that comes up later in the game. Maybe just a
boss?
passing. Maybe just
Final
a passing
boss.
thing. You know, maybe she has something to do with like, you know, the heart of the planet type of a thing, something like that, or some like heartstone keystone thingy or other. I don't know.
She's got the amulet.
Something like that. I mean, she is wearing a amulet.
And it's her
I can't see-
name in the game. If you pre-order the game, Isabella's Amulet, I believe it's called, right? That's what you get. I don't know what it
yeah.
means. It's got her name on it.
I don't know. I just know if they're gonna insert critical characters, they better just have some. They better be useful rather than just be like, oh, here's this random thing right here in the middle of nowhere. Enjoy. You know.
I
want
really
there to be some good cutscenes. I like a good cutscene.
Thank
There better
you.
be good cutscenes. And I also want.
Please.
I don't know what other game does this, but like I think D2 does it, and I think there's one other game that might do it, but there's
World of Warcraft does
cutscenes
cutscenes so dang well. Ugh.
Well, there's cutscenes that are like synced between all the players at once, so it plays for everybody at the same
Right.
time. I would love to see some really nice, like cutscenes, some nice graphics. I don't care about ray tracing, whatever.
I think the game looks gorgeous.
Yeah, something like that. That you know, and I hope that graphically, like this game had better be like. We don't know really what it looks like per se based on like game trailer stuff perhaps, but there better be some really nice like rendering and like high quality stuff. And I hope that as like they pour more time into it, they can up the level rendering and stuff. Cause I know it sounds really, I guess, elitist of me to say, but I don't really play a game unless the graphics look really spectacular because it's not pushing my hardware and I'm not interested. Like that's why WoW is disgusting to me because it just graphically looks so bad.
I still like WoW graphics. I just love the cartoony feel
it's
of it. I think
gross.
I love the
It's
look of
so
World of Warcraft.
badly done.
I
Yeah, and
disagree.
RuneScape 2 looks ugly, and RuneScape 1 looks
Any
ugly.
RuneScape looks horrible.
Yeah, it really is garbage. So, give me my graphics, or you're gonna have a little bit of a tough time keeping me, unless there's something else to compel me for it.
I definitely think this game is visually stunning. So I think it has just the right amount of stylism.
Hopefully,
To it.
we always add more.
So what I'm hoping with this game with Isabella is that she was like an explorer, right? So this game is New World. New World is the term they gave when they explored to the New World in the 17th century and found South America, North America, because it was undiscovered land when it came to westernization. She's clearly, look at her shoulder pad. She's clearly, you can't see what the symbol is, but she's clearly got, this drab on that you would think would be of the time. What if she's come to this land and she was already kind of this conqueror, conquistador, right? But like really became, because of the type of intention she already had, her discovery of the corruption, like really, like she didn't even need to be corrupted necessarily and lose control. This was kind of like the dark side of the Force. If you look at her face, like she looks like someone on the dark side of the Force. Her decisions and her heart kind of really was fed by the corrupted. Instead of being taken over by the corrupted, she basically adopted the corrupted, right? Like there was this evil forces happening on the island, and she very much was like, she wants to take over. She wants to take over the New World for whatever home nation she is, but now she's gone rogue and whatever, maybe the expedition in the country she was here for is like trying to kill her. Like I hope there's real historical influence here, because this game is a historical fiction of some really cool time of our world's history, right? Finding the New World, Columbus, and some other names that you can't name because they're not as famous, even though they beat him. This was a real big time. Like, news got back to Europe, and it was like, this isn't India. We didn't hit India. This is new. This is the New World. And there was this age of discovery, and there was these types of people that wanted to take it for themselves or take it for their country. And there's the different factions in this game that very much embody those nations, right? And their intentions. So, like, I really hope that that's kind of where this story is driven for her, is kind of like she was this evil conqueror that, like, adopted the corrupted and is almost like, what's an example? Oh, it's kind of like, Jazeel, kind of like, what's his name in World of Warcraft? The Betrayer, right? Where he basically is like, I have to adopt fel magic and go hit the Burning Crusade with their own medicine. The only way to beat the Burning Legion is to become like the Burning Legion, right? She basically adopts this evil force. Okay, but he had good intentions. I think she has bad intentions. Maybe she is like the Betrayer. Maybe she had good intentions, where she adopts this really powerful force because she wants to use it to gain, whether defeating it, she instead becomes it, or because she's evil, she gains it because she wants to use it
I have
to
a better
advance
idea.
her cause. Like, I would love to see that kind of story play out.
I have kind of a better idea. Like,
oh, I see how it is. My idea sucks.
Well, no,
I'm
not saying your idea is bad. I'm just saying, like, it's just the wording I chose to have instead.
Just joshing you, bro.
So my thing is, so they showed like the other, like, darker, like, devil looking character, whatever. It would be kind of interesting if, like, the storyline is you stumbled upon a new world that, like, was already in turmoil, and that giant monster is like, that's actually the bad guy, and the girl she's kind of good, but she's kind of self-serving, good to herself, but, like, she has some minor form of mercy and realizes that she can't really have land for her, the world for herself, because she's seen the darker side of this other character. Like, there's some like nice, like, little moral story in there somewhere,
kind of like Illidan is what you're saying. So basically, like, she doesn't have evil in her heart. She's seen the corruption. It just looks
that way.
She's seen the corruption, she's experienced the corruption, but she's not succumbed to the corruption.
Yeah,
I mean, you look at her face,
like that,
she kind of looks like she's succumbed to the corruption. Just saying. But that would be interesting. Someone who's embraced this power but actually has free will and doesn't give in to its calls for destruction. So you want to see a redemption story with Isabella?
Yeah.
Okay.
Something like that.
Okay. Jazeel. You're like, you said it all.
Well, a lot of it. Yeah. To me, it does look like someone that maybe it's kind of like the Syndicate in the game, right? Where they found this corruption and they kind of want to study it and understand it, and then ultimately to use it to their own benefit. And to me, I kind of
that was not.
I kind of took it that possibly that's where she was initially. She wanted to study it and to utilize it to.
She got too close to the fire. She got too close to the flame.
Yeah, and it ended up, instead of her controlling it, it ended up controlling her. Now, as far as the story goes, I wouldn't mind a redemption story in there somewhere. As you said, Illidan's one of my favorite characters in World of Warcraft. And, and I love
Illidan's a BAMF. That's who he is.
He has the right intentions.
He's sacrificed everything.
Yeah, he's sacrificed everything to save us, and he's done some things that obviously are not good.
Things he would have rather not done, but he felt were necessary.
He felt they were necessary. And after I played through that storyline and
New World. Sorry. Go ahead, finish.
Yeah. After I played through that, I kind of understood. It's still, wow, ouch. But yeah, I hope there is a story that this isn't just part of the trailer, dude.
What's so funny?
Are we doing the hearts now?
World.
All right.
No,
Greetings, New World. We were
I'm
just talking about
playing
you.
New Worlds in chat. I was giving them a heart.
No, I know, but
I'm
I'm
not
memeing
gonna
it
Gazeo.
further.
Yeah.
I'm memeing it further, and not you, but I'm trying to make a joke. Okay, never mind. I just
Okay.
failed.
Is
Moving
that
on, Giselle, I'm sorry.
it's welcome back, Play New World.
Yeah, go on.
I'm blushing again that he's here. We've been begging. We've been so hoping you would come back.
Hello. Continue.
Welcome back to the podcast, Play New World. For you guys who are newer here, Play New World is actually one of the devs that works with the
official Twitch channel too.
Yeah, that's the official Twitch channel of the game, and they are part of the basically the community experience of the game. Happy quarantine to you too, I guess. I'm not quarantined. I've been working almost not the entire time. 2 weeks. I quarantined myself, and then I didn't get sick, so I went back to work.
I'm a gamer. I don't know the difference.
I was gonna say life is the same here. Nothing
I don't know
really
what that is.
changed. Also, the cosmetics in this game are going to be sick. I agree with you, Billy. I think this game is just the right strike between realism and stylized. I think it's perfect.
Oh, by the way, so
Essentially the
to
difference.
revisit something back, should we tell them our idea about what we think? How?
Oh
the
my
long
gosh,
boss
yes,
is?
we'll touch on that in a moment. I like that idea, Grid. Play New World, we've got an idea for you that I want you to really take to your guys, okay? You've probably heard plenty of things. Says it's Legion. So $15 says it's Legion. Yeah, give it to me. All right, or maybe we could just do it now. Okay, so invasions. We talked about invasions today, Play New World. We were talking about basically how the corrupted influence a territory and then it
My
culminates in
idea.
invasion. It was a combination of yours and my idea because I talked
Sure.
about I wanted territories to be incorporated. You said, well, why don't we make it part of the whole thing? So
Yeah.
I was talking about I had this idea, Play New World, that when there's an invasion on a particular territory by the corrupted, that there'd be real penalty for losing that invasion as the defending force. And I'm talking about like the corrupted inhabit for a while. My idea was maybe for 3 days, 2 days, whatever, that you actually kind of lose control of your settlement, your fort, your territory gets overran by breaches way more than even before, and the territory becomes kind of dangerous now. I mean, you always want it to be dangerous, but I mean, like, the PvE, there'll be plenty of stuff to kill, right? It'll be just completely overran by corrupted, and they'll basically inhabit it. That's not the word I'm looking for. What's it called when like an invasion force takes over a place? There's a specific word.
They basically just conquer the land.
There's a specific
essentially.
word I'm thinking of, but basically they inhabit it for a while, and there's real problems for the original company or faction that owned it. But then Mr. Grid here said, well, what if they were
Okay,
like
so
another faction? Go for it. Take it over, Grid.
So my extensive idea was that like what if
Occupy. That's the word. Sorry.
Yeah. So my idea is what if the invasion like occupies a land basically almost indefinitely unless you gather the people that are good at PvE are into that. It's like PvP players go to PvE companies be like, hey, so we lost our land to an invasion and we can't get it back. We need your assistance because you know how to do PvE and we don't. And so the idea was that like it includes people that do PvE just specifically, and it unifies more of the like the player base to work together. And the other idea has that like the longer that you delay taking your land back, the worse chance you have of getting it back because the environment or the world invasion like increases in numbers and you have less and less of a chance of getting it back because their numbers are so big, and then it means you have to gather more players like an army and strategize and plan and come up with really good like battle tactic type things to fight the server or the invasion to get your land back. And then at the end, let's say if they do get their land back, the idea is that like they could either like stay together, like the PvE man. Dyslexia's kicking in.
I know.
PvP or PvE players can either choose to stay together and make a more bigger company, or split and go their separate ways, and then they get to keep their land and the other guys go back to their land, and there you go. So you can create like alliances and things like that. That was our combined ideas.
Yeah. So like imagine playing a world, there's already 3 factions. New World at launch is just the beginning point, right? And here's the thing: Play New World, a great example for a game that's transformed from launch, and it was kind of proof of concept at launch, is Sea of Thieves. Sea of Thieves was this sandbox. Well, not sandbox, that's the wrong way, but it was this open world. Here's the game we're giving you. We have so much planned for this, but we want you to have it now. I expect that similar type of path with New World. But what we're saying is, like, imagine there being the 3 factions fighting over territories, but there's also a 4th faction that is fighting for those same territories in the same way. And that's the Corrupted. And they conquer your territories, and
then you're basically messed over till you take it back.
Yeah, or another faction comes and now takes it. Say you get invaded, right? And there's going to be PvE players.
And then
yeah,
the people that lost their faction, and then someone could choose.
Someone else could take it.
Fighting over for so you're literally fighting over for land.
Yeah, so this could really bring the PvE and PvP community together. We talked about this. This could really create companies that are really unified, and you could have PvE and PvE players in the same company, because you need to have, if you're a PvE, you need to have both now. Because you're going to need players that are really good at defending against invasions, and really good players that are good against defending against players, and players that are really good at going in. Now let's say this territory that was taken away from the Syndicate and your Covenant, and the Syndicate lost it to an invasion, you need a really good attacking force that's good at PvE, that can go into that land. Now we're like, wow, we really want that land. We couldn't beat the Syndicate in a war, but they just lost an invasion. Yo, PvEers in our company, or hey, company that's really good at PvE, can you go take that land now for the Covenant?
Or assist us together.
Yeah, like there could be a really big cooperation here.
Oh, I just had another. I'm sorry, I hate to jump in. I just had another really good idea too.
I think there could be a really dynamic world that way.
The other thought I had is that I think it's been talked about. There's like different skill leveling, isn't it? Was that talked about in any one of the blogs or something? I think. Well, imagine if you had like a skill leveling system too with it. That like when you work with, so if PvP and PvE players work together, they earn like a skill point system that's like, hey, because you worked with a PvE player, you now have like +1 extra in like gathering skill, or +1 extra in knowledge of a world environment. And then like a PvE player be like, you have, X,
so like
X
participation bonuses basically.
Yeah, you
or
earn
cooperation
and
bonuses.
you gain more, like your character gains some kind of extra ability, knowledge, and a new skill that you can choose to pursue that skill for your character, or just be like, okay, that's cool, I'm not really going to do anything with it.
Encourage
like
crossplay.
Jazeel, what do you think? What do you think of that kind of idea? Because Jazeel's sitting here all quiet. I'm trying to get him included.
He does that a lot. I know, he does that a lot. He'll get quiet for a while.
Well, yeah. I mean, the reason right now is you guys are already saying what my thoughts are, so I can't really add anything to it. And then when you're mentioning like having like bonuses that reflect upon that cooperation with that, I'm sitting here in my mind trying to think of specifics, but I don't think I can come up with that in like 1 minute. But I love that idea.
Yeah, I really do too. Like,
I know that it's taken over.
Yeah.
It's not just opened right back up for other people to march in. Like they have taken over. We've got to go back in, and
there's a time limit that we've got to do something
and
here.
There's this, and
we've got to do something.
Grid keeps using this phrase, and I agree with him. This breathing world. We want this world that is changing and breathing, and there's history, and the things are happening.
One other thing we mentioned, and since the Play New World official, one of the guys from the team is there, we had mentioned earlier, I really like, I'm kind of a fan of AI learning a little bit in video games. So the idea was that like we were like, what if
depending
like
on how well you did
battles, depending how well you did, the PvE battles scale, and they could like skip away and be like, okay, these guys, like the computer's like, the player's beating me too much, I need to up this ante, and it just skips like a whole wave and just goes right to the top of like
the hardest
machine
material.
learning, like literal machine learning in the player and how good they are and stuff like that. Like that
Dynamic
that needs to be in video game. This needs to be the first game that does that. That'd be so dope.
You guys have a great. It looks like you guys have a great engine in the lumberyard. We were hoping, like, when it comes to invasions, depending how quickly you clear out waves, then the invasion adjusts and gives you a different type of wave next. And then, so for the players who are really good, they'll progressively see harder waves than invasion defenders that aren't doing as well.
Yeah.
And it scales based on the success of the defenders. We really hope. I like learned AI as well. I think that's really cool. Let me read what he's been responding real quick to. He says that's a pretty cool idea. Give it some serious stakes. New World at launch is just the beginning point. We love it. Keep the awesome ideas flowing. We can't wait to continue to build the game together once we get the game into the hands of everyone and we can all talk about it together freely.
Yay.
I also hope that. Jafar, how do I got 40 views? I don't know what you're talking about. New World meets deep learning, right? We need a game that... yeah. What is the 58 in your box, Jafar? That is my sub count. That's my sub.
Yeah.
That's how many subscribers I have. I kind of want to get rid of that in the screen. Thank you for pointing that out to me. I don't want that here. I don't want like any of that stuff in my, because the podcast isn't about me. Thank you for bringing that up. There, now it's gone.
So yeah, no, those are just another idea we crossed. That then now that you're here, you can now hear it, and we don't have to go to the forum and type it up because I don't really feel like typing.
Hey,
right
Kenneth
now.
and dude. Yeah, just wondering. So, yeah, and what we were just talking about, Play New World, we were talking about what we kind of hope to see Isabella be. We were talking about Grid and Jazeel kind of want this redemption story about this conqueror that was able to harness the power of, almost like an Illidan, harness the power of Azoth like the Corrupted does, but to bring about something good. Like, she had good intentions, but maybe fell to it. I'm more of a, she's this, conqueror who finds Azoth and wants to, and discovers the power of the Corrupted and basically harnesses it like, I keep using WoW analogies, more like, what's his name does, Arthas does, you know what I mean? And instead of he does what's necessary, he falls to what was the undead and becomes its ruler, and now is the bidder of, does the bidding of evil. And she wants to conquer these new lands because the game is historical fiction, and I want her to be this conqueror of the new world of South America, of the Bahamas, and she's actually one of these generals or one of these world leaders, that's trying to take over the new world for themselves. That'd be awesome, I think. Welcome back, Kenneth. And Pastors After Dark is over now. I figured that's why you're here. Yeah. I've even have said if WoW comes out in August, I'm going to play. Oh yeah, no doubt. I highly doubt that World of Warcraft expansion comes out in August. Alpha just came out for the new expansion, like
another expansion.
WoW's going on. WoW's going on, bro. WoW is gonna be around
game
for a
is
while.
so old, dude.
There's lots of games that are that old that I still play.
But like that's like really old.
Is there anything? I also wanted to kind of touch on the ancients. It's 11 o'clock though, so I think this is a good time to go. But Play New World's here now, and I don't really want to end the show. We're 2 hours. We're right at the 2 hour mark, which is like the max I want for the show from now on.
Is there anything you want to revisit as a subject?
Play New World. I mean, I don't know.
Because like, I don't think there. I guess there's nothing. I don't know if they've mentioned like any like, I guess on sea. I think there was. I don't know if on sea battles was a thing that they mentioned. I know in the trailer it looks like that. There hasn't been anything mentioned more of that, right? Because that was in the trailer for one of the previous 40, right?
Mm-hmm.
We haven't seen any. There isn't any updates.
How do we get their
all?
attention on the forums, Play New World? Like, how loud do we have to get? Because this idea, I know that we're just dudes talking about the game, but like, I'm so excited about this idea that me and Greg came up with that like, I'll be unhappy if we don't see it. Because like, I want this ongoing push-pull conflict. not just with the players, but the entire world. You guys talk about in your vlogs, and you talk about them in your dev blogs, that the world is constantly fighting back. Well, what if it really was because it wanted to take the land? You know what I mean? There's a quote in one of the videos that the corrupted's amassing forces in the north. Well, do they control are they taking territories in the north? Or there's just some land in the north that they happen to be in? Like, I want them to take it. I want them to be a real threat. I'm here now, and we'll take it up tomorrow with the team. Dude, be loud, Play New World. Be loud. My last question.
They should show them this VOD.
Dude, yeah, just show them this, man.
Since
you
we
can
talk
have
about
it.
everything in there.
You can have it. My last question, and I know I'm gonna be that guy. Can you maybe Greg is loud, guys. Greg is loud. I was wondering if I could call you Greg. I wasn't sure if you were okay with that. Greg, could you be a G? Can we get an alpha key giveaway in chat right now?
Oh my!
I'm gonna go there.
Why
I'm doing it. I'm doing it. I'm gonna ask. Okay, my theme has been you miss 100 of the shots you don't take. So I'm just gonna go there and say, Greg, is there a way you could give away a key in chat right now? But like count it down. Don't just suddenly do it. Sits on his knees. There's some people here that I know would love. He's like, all right, well, I'm out. Peace. I'm asking. He can say no.
Dude.
He can say no. We can do an exclamation point key, and whoever wins the giveaway, you can whisper them the key. Like, kind of giveaway right now. Beggars. Okay. It doesn't hurt to try. They were the last guys. For those of you who are new, the last time the devs were here, and they were here the first podcast, they gave away like 7 keys. It was gangbusters.
Watch exclamation. It's gonna
watch him be like not respond. He's like, I'm out.
Now you're gonna see exclamation drops in the chat like Valorant.
Dude, right? Drops. I'll send one to you, and you can give it away.
Poggers,
Deal!
dude.
Oh my gosh, yes, guys. Can we get some hearts in the chat for Play New World? We're gonna do a key giveaway. Let's just do it right now because the show is basically over. If you want to send that my way, I will love that, and we'll do.
That'd be dope.
We'll do a key.
Yeah,
we're gonna do them really soon, Soulbound. Shoot me a DM on Twitter. Twitter's a bad place for me to do that. Can we do it in a DM in? I mean, I can DM you on Twitter, but I have to pull my phone out because I never.
Twitch
do it
Whispers is.
I just say,
good.
can you do a Twitch Whisper? If not, I can do. I can do Twitter if you want.
Depending on which bot you use, Jafar, you could probably do like a there's like a giveaway option I think in most bots.
Yeah,
so
I'm just gonna do it.
that.
I'm gonna do the standard exclamation point keyword.
Yeah.
We'll just do exclamation point alpha, I guess. Sure, I can whisper you. Perfect. All right, guys, we're gonna open up this giveaway in a second. Don't do it yet. Don't do it yet. I will tell you. Actually, the thing will tell you. Where's my giveaway option? Giveaway.
Yeah, I guess the worst thing I could ever say is no.
That's what I'm saying. Like, he could. The worst thing is he could leave and say, "I'm done with these guys. They asked for so much."
Thank you.
But
That's what I was scared of.
yeah, right.
Thank you. Yes,
Dude.
Because
I appreciate
like,
that.
It's like they come back and like, oh, that Jafar guy. All he wants is just keys. What do I go there for?
I know. All right, guys, we're gonna do a 3-minute timer, just 3, and it starts. Oh my gosh, can I get the 3? No, 2, 4. Starting now, guys. The keyword is exclamation point alpha. If you type exclamation point alpha in the chat, you are going to be entered for a chance to get an alpha key right now. Guys, there's some alphas in the chat. You just have to be a follower. You do have to be a follower. Just going to put that in there because that's just how it works. You have to be a
Follow
follower.
the stream.
Beta,
Like,
Kennethan, trolling. Dude, Soulbound getting in on the giveaway. Guys, we've got 5 people, 6 people. Billy Angel, Chris, New World Order, Soulman Alchemist 10. Zephyr's getting in on the alpha giveaway. Dragon Star. Let's get it. Issa CBW, thank you so much for the follow. Gets in the giveaway. Guys, you have 2 minutes 20 seconds. What should we chat for the next 2 minutes? What should we talk
how's the weather?
Oh,
Oh, hey, you know what? Actually, I do have an idea for it.
Drop.
Have they talked about weather environments yet?
Dude, is there dynamic weather and dynamic day? I always wanted that. I want daytime dynamic stuff like that.
I would really like it if there was a dynamic weather system.
Weather and day-night cycle. I'd love that.
And again, I'm gonna reference Sea of Thieves because it has one of the best weather systems I think
Dude,
I've
Sea of
seen
Thieves
for
is
the
a
most
great
part.
game. It's
It really
got a
is.
great game.
I
Not talking weather
imagine-
tonight. That's fine. You don't have to. Okay.
imagine though, like, okay, so just imagine the idea that like weather could like affect your company in some way, like traveling in bad weather takes you longer to do something, or like if it's really frigid, your player could like get cold and your battling abilities are worse or something like that.
Sorry, go on. I'm typing and
So
something happened.
that's something I just like thought of because like I like games that have, again, if we're gonna talk about living breathing environments, weather has to be one of them, I think.
60 seconds, boys and girls. 60 seconds. I definitely think we have. I mean, we've come this far. If a game doesn't have dynamic weather, I'm almost like, really?
It'd be like, what's the
You know
point?
what I mean? Kind of like how you
Yeah.
feel about graphics. I'm in the
Yes.
wrong screen right now. Sorry about that.
What
guys.
is that? I know Grid hates zombie games, but there was a zombie game I played a couple of years back. I think it was called Dying Light.
Oh,
Yes,
Where-
Dying
I have
Light,
heard of
yeah,
that.
Where at night the mobs got way more violent, and it was way more difficult to traverse through the city. That'd be kind of cool too.
I wouldn't mind that, I guess. Makes you
Yeah.
have to think a little smarter. You know, it's kind of like it's not safe to go outside kind of a thing.
Yeah. Or at least take a lot of
Oh my
friends.
gosh, I'm using cap lock. Sorry, I'm using cap locks, Greg. If there's a way you want to prove it's me to make sure you're getting the key to the right person, I can use a code word or something. Okay, cool. No, you trusted me that way. That works too. Go forth, guys. We have. Oh, time's up. There it is. Boom, bada bing, bada boom. Ladies and gentlemen, Dying Light is good. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 people in the giveaway. Let's pick a winner for that alpha key.
And your winner.
Your winner is Billy Angel, a new follower from this evening. Congratulations, Billy
Wow,
Angel. You got
congrats,
yourself
man.
an alpha
Congratulations,
key.
congratulations.
Please whisper me in game, and I will get you that key. And I want to confirm. Go ahead, type in chat so I know you're here. There he is. OMG, he's excited. Go ahead, whisper me in
Twitch Whisper.
Right. I don't know what that means. Don't let anyone try. I don't know what that means. Play New World. What do you mean by don't let anyone do that? I can just copy and paste it though, right? In a different whisper to him. Go ahead and whisper me in stream, Billy, and then test the code out. I want to make sure it works because it will work. It's a Steam code, is the way it works. You just enter it into Steam. Like you go at the very bottom corner of Steam, and there's like get new game, and there's enter a code. If you whisper me right now, or I'll whisper you actually. You know what? I'll whisper you.
Yeah.
Because then it can't be wrong. Because I can make sure it's the person. Boom. Oh, gotcha. Good to know. Yes. So that will be the goal, Kennethan. Is every Sunday, maybe every other Sunday, as information comes out. I know because COVID, information's probably going to be a little slower. So we haven't even gotten anything new since the invasion stuff came out 2 weeks ago. So might be a couple weeks before the next one. Sounds good, Greg. Billy, did you get that DM? I sent you a DM. I want to make sure this works. Like that he gets this. He's not responding. Billy, make sure you got the DM. Check your DMs. Play Tarkov. Hey Alex, how's it going, dude? He's not responding in DMs.
Could he whisper you on your Discord, like in a DM on Discord?
Perhaps.
If he joins your Discord, he should be able to DM you on Discord.
Sure. I did not. I sent you a DM in maybe we might have to be friends. Hold on. We might have to be friends. You might have it set up that you don't get DMs from people. I sent you a friend request, Billy. Did you get that? I'm grounded, but try it out. I mean, a lot of people love Tarkov. I just finished writing the war article and Dev Diary for it. Oh, yes! Now, what next week, as in like this week? Because will it be out before next Sunday? It's fun. Just whisper in Twitch. I did, Kenneth, and you didn't get it. Siege is not
Twitch
dead. Siege is
whispers are-
amazing. I'm obsessed with Siege.
Twitch whispers are buggy, honestly. Like I've heard all kinds of weird things about them.
They are weird.
I actually kind of. There isn't like Discord integration for Twitch, like the
Let's
chatting
try
system.
Discord. All right. I will whisper. I was gonna say, there's my Discord. As in, we should be getting those out in the next 5 days. Sweet. So we'll have content for next Sunday. Yes.
Poggers.
Yes. Confirmed.
Oh, cool.
There will be a podcast next Sunday, ladies and gentlemen, and it sounds like it'll be on Wars and Dev Diary 4. What is the? Can you disclose what the topic of the Dev Diary is?
Probably not.
Things and stuff.
On
Stuff
things
and
and
things.
stuff. It's on stuff and things. I think I know what it is because I think you told us the order of stuff last time you were here. You talked about
Yeah.
order of releases. Did you get that Discord? No. Darn it. All caps.
All right, that's the words he said is no.
No, I
That's the only
mean
no he said.
darn. Did you join the Discord? Billy Angel is being sluggish.
Oof.
Did he join the He hasn't joined the Discord yet. Is he like maybe he's way behind?
Could be stream delay too. You have to know. You have to realize there's a stream delay for some people. Because like, there's been instances actually where like
I
your
have to
chat
do it
is
on
like
my
slower.
PC. Oh, you're on your phone right now. Maybe that's why you're having issues. There
How
might
does
be
is he on?
issues.
Well, does he? Okay, so I'm trying to think about how whispers work on Twitch.
It's
on
weird.
on
Are you gonna
mobile.
play Siege tonight? I might not, Guacamole. We've got videos and it's relatively late.
Yeah, if he's on the following homepage of his phone, you should be able to see like the little whisper icon. It looks like a little speech bubble, and if he taps it, he should, and then go over to whispers.
Oh, there we
That's
go.
where he's.
He got it. He got it.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna type something in the disc. I'm gonna type you a word. This is how people do this. I'm gonna type you a word in that, and then I'm gonna have you type it in chat. Okay? It's just use a keyword. There. Type that in chat, and I will believe you. And it'll show up it'll show up in the feed of the winner messages, so I'll know it's you. And I will copy and paste this code, and I want to make sure, yes, and he highlighted it. What a G. What a G. Ladies and gentlemen, that did not, oh, there it is, like, that didn't show up. Boom. There's your key, sir. Congratulations. Go enter it now, and then whisper me to make sure it works. I have good information that it works, so I won't believe you if you tell me otherwise. No offense. Love you guys. Have an awesome night. Dude, Play New World, Greg, thank you so much for coming by. You, like, make our night when you come by, and you just bless my community. It's our community. It's a big deal when you guys come by. It's good to know that the devs are out here with us, because right now nobody's with any. We're all apart together. Game looks interesting though. Might have to check it out. It does look amazing, dude. You guys, I know, right? Billy, there's some cool cats. This is the second time they've been here. They're really cool, guys. That is gonna end the show for this evening. Thank you so much. One more time, can we get some hearts in the chat for Play New World to come by, give us give us a key and tell us when the next devlogs are coming out, which is pretty freaking cool.
Are wonky.
Dude, your hearts are kind of wonky.
Yeah, my hands are weird. I don't know if I can do.
It's almost
This?
11:30 here. Oh my gosh, Chaos! I know we're all in this
Isn't
together.
that the Volcom
You
sim?
stay safe, stay healthy,
You know what?
Play New
Actually,
World.
here I'll do this.
No.
instead.
What's going
Oh,
on?
yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, that works. Live long and prosper. I can only do it with my left hand. I can't do it with my right hand.
I can do it with
Do it.
both.
I can only do the W with my right hand. I cannot do the W with my left hand. I can only do this. It's all.
To avoid handshaking, just greet people like this when you go
That's
out.
a great idea. Ladies and
You need
gentlemen,
this?
that is going to be the end of the show for us tonight. Guys, thank you again for coming by. Grid, Jazeel, you guys are amazing.
Always.
This was a lot of fun talking PvE. And now that I watched these videos, honestly, it sounds like there's more PvE content than I even thought about, because the world bosses and the world dungeons and things like that. I really hope that Greg's loud. I hope it sounds like he likes our idea, Grid. So let's
Yeah,
Uh,
it is a really good idea,
you
man.
think so? I think so too.
Yeah.
High five, Grid.
Yeah.
Virtual high five, bro. Boom. Poof. All right, guys, we're gonna end this, and we're gonna take it over to the video reaction part of my stream on Sundays, guys. For those of you waiting, we did. I know it looked good. I agree. I apologize to all my video people. This did go a half hour longer than planned, but thank you guys for being patient. We'll get to those videos. There's only like 7 videos tonight, so it's not gonna be that long anyways. But everyone who was here for this, if you want, hit that follow button. We'll be doing this show again next Sunday. It sounds like we're gonna have new material to talk about, which I'm excited. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, you all have a great night.